Yes, Pato UG Omuntu Wansi. Now, this is our new English channel podcast. We are going to be broadcasting in English so that we can also target that audience that cannot comprehend Luganda. The Luganda channel is also active, but as per now, this channel is new. So I will ask you to hold me, subscribe, like, but also share so that you do not miss the daily updates that we're going to keep on posting on this channel. It is going to be very informative. We are going to be focusing on the affairs of Uganda, our domestic affairs, the affairs of East Africa as a region, but also go beyond the boundaries of our region and focus on the continental affairs. A lot is going on in Uganda, in the region, and also in the continent. We have elections taking place in Cameroon, Yaoundé. We have a similar case in Uganda. The president of Cameroon, Paul Biya, has been in power for over 4 decades right now. I think he's the second longest serving African figure. But also the same case with Uganda. We have someone who has been in power for the last 40 years. The only difference between the two countries is that Paul Biya is less of a militant, but Museveni is more of a militant. But when you compare the two countries politically, I think they fall in the same categories. They had elections 3 days back, and the news that I'm getting from Yaoundé is that the opposition candidate has already declared himself basing on provisional results. However, the Electoral Commission of Cameroon has not pronounced any provision results, but it has up to 15 days maximum to declare who the winner is. However, we shall be going through all those issues. One, I want to first focus on our case in Uganda. All right. This is the president of Cameroon, Paul Biya. He was casting his vote. You can barely see. Someone who can barely walk. Someone who can barely talk. You can just assess his mental state, his physical state, but he's still seeking for the 8th term. The person you're seeing on the screen, he has been in power for over 43 years. At the age of 92, at the age of 92, he's seeking a mandate of still preside over the affairs of Cameroon. And that is the problem of Africa as a continent. Because you see, we are talking about a continent that is the youngest in the world. A continent whose median age is 19. A continent of young people with a lot of aspirations. But again, entrenched by aging figures, and they have sidelined us, the youth, those in 20s, those in 30s, those in 40s, and they are presiding over the state affairs. No wonder the status of the economy of the continent, and also the status of the political environment. Because someone like Paul Biya, someone who's supposed to be in the hospital seeking medical attention, someone who can barely walk. Now tell me, if someone like Paul Biya is presiding over the affairs of the state, how can a country take off? How can a country develop? How can a country ever grow economically if you have someone like him in charge? That one is one. There's this one. There's Tondoro Obiang Nguema, the president of Equatorial Guinea. Just look at him. Even mere walking is a problem. You have to get some people who will be handling you. He's also in charge of the affairs of Equatorial Guinea. But he's also pursuing life presidency. He has already groomed his son to take over from him. His son is the vice president, but also presiding over the entire security of Equatorial Guinea. But these are the leaders who are in power. Those are two cases. Then we go to Uganda. For the case of Uganda, case of Southern Sudan, look at the physical state of Dictator Yoweri Museveni as his contemporary Salva Kiir Mayardit. You get? And even for the case of Uganda, Uganda is one of the youngest countries, not only in Africa, but in the entire world. In fact, in Africa, it's only behind Niger. But look at the people who are in charge of the state affairs. No wonder the situation in Uganda now. You see, so I've been telling people, you can't be having such criminals in charge of the state affairs and you think a country will ever take off. It is impossible. You get? Because I've been telling people, the problems of Africa as a continent are only two. All these other problems that we talk about, corruption, poverty, unemployment, their source is only two issues. And until they are sorted out, the continent will never develop. One, it is the leadership issue, the governance issue, until it is sorted out. Until the continent deals with greedy leaders, criminals, gullibles, who are presiding over state affairs, I'm telling you, the continent will never take off. Until they sort out the question of the Western influence on the continent, you will never sort out all the other problems that I'm talking about. Until those two issues are sorted out, the Western influence and the leadership question. Because you see, we can't allow these criminals, aging figures, to be the one in charge of the state affairs. And you think we are going to progress, and you think countries are going to develop. It will never happen. Especially most of the countries in Africa that are dominated by people who are young, especially those in the labor force in between the age of 16 and 35. Because the capacity to kick them out of power is there. We just need to utilize our potential and we show them the exit. So I know it is very possible.
Uganda
look at such leader,
is
the Prime Minister of Uganda.
dissolved.
These are criminals who have been running governments for the last 40 years. For his case, he has been a public servant for almost 50 years of age. Because all these people, they are either supposed to be in jail, they are either supposed to be in jail or they are supposed to be in hospitals seeking medical attention. But they are seeking for a mandate to serve in a public office. Tell me which country can develop amidst having such leaders who are not credible, who are not mentally fit, physically fit to preside over state affairs. It is a deficit that we must deal with. So that is the case of Uganda as a country. So, when we talk about Biya, at 92 years of age, he has been in power for over 40 years. Look at him. He can barely walk. He can barely stand. In this video, I think he doesn't even know where he is. But he's seeking mandate to lead Cameroon. They had elections 2 days back. He was defeated by the opposition figure. In fact, one of the opponent who was posing a major threat, they didn't allow him to be on the ballot. And then they had a coalition, the opposition had a coalition, and he was defeated massively with over 80%. Look at the provisional results. And the opposition figure who defeated him has already declared that he won the elections and is begging him to respect the will of the people of Cameroon and declare him as a winner. Okay. I'm talking about this guy. This guy is called Chiroma Agami. Of course, he's also old, but I've told you the kind of crisis that we are in as a continent. A very young continent stuck with old leaders who are not neither mentally fit or physically fit to run governments.
My dear compatriot, Cameroonian women and men, today it is with deep emotion and immense pride that I address you Together, we have written history. Throughout this campaign, I saw a Cameroon standing tall. I saw women, men, youth, and elders braving threats, facing intimidation, yet remaining mobilized. I saw voters keeping watch in polling stations until the end of the night, protecting their voices, defending the truth of the ballot box. This courage, this determination will forever remain engraved in the memory of our nation. First, I want to say thank you to the Cameroonian people. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for believing in change. Thank you to all who voted and to all who protected their vote. You are the true heroes of this victory. My gratitude also goes to all the men and women who fought this battle before me. Without your work, we would not be here today. For this, I say thank you. I also thank the candidates who have already sent me their congratulations and recognize the will of the people. Their gesture honors our democracy and marks the beginning of a new era where the unity of the opposition and the civil society becomes
so that is His Excellency
force.
Issa
I want
Tiaroma
to say it
Bakri,
with gravity and simplicity.
the elected President of the Republic of Cameroon, as
And
per
his choice
the provision
must be
results.
respected. I call on all institutions, all administrative authorities, all officials, not to make themselves enemy of the people they are meant to serve. The time of fear, manipulation, and false calculation is over. The only camp that matters today is that of Cameroon. To our defense and security forces, I pay tribute to our loyalty.
Now that is addressing the state machinery.
To remain on the side of the Republic and of the people. Do not let anyone divert you from your sacred mission to protect the people, not a regime. To the youth of Cameroon, I say, the future belongs to you. To our teachers, our workers, our farmers, our soldiers, our journalists, our diaspora, I repeat, you stood firm and you won. Together, we will turn the page. Together, we will reconcile our nation, rebuild our institution, and open the path to a just, dignified, and fraternal future. In the coming days,
that is Honorable Bakri, the newly elected President of Cameroon. Now it is upon the Electoral Commission of Cameroon, because they have the constitutional mandate, to declare him the winner. You see, his entire message is trying to address the status quo and also the state machinery that is trying to protect Biya and his inner circle to stay in power. Because you see, I don't think that the state of Biya mentally and physically is still in charge. But I told you from the beginning that we have a young continent but has been entrenched by ages